Well, of course, there are thousands of volunteers at these Beijing Olympics, and all of them are new, though. Some of them have previous experience from past games. There's one statistics keeper from Canada. He's called George Sampson, and he's come to Beijing to help out, as he has done at previous Olympiads. Zheng Siwei met him there.
This applies, guess.
George is holding classes so he can share his previous experiences as an Olympic volunteer.
What is a volunteer? Well, a volunteer is a person we give our own time without thought of payment or remuneration or material reward.
George knows a good deal about China and he's well qualified to help out with the current games. He was a volunteer at the Athens Olympics 4 years ago. He's also a volunteer at this year's games. On top of that, he was a torchbearer for both Olympics. He has some clear ideas on what will be required of a good volunteer for this year's games.
To be an Olympic volunteer in Beijing, you should exemplify certain positive characteristics. First thing is language.
The ability to speak Chinese naturally is an important asset, but it's also important that a volunteer be acquainted with Beijing and well-grounded in Chinese culture.
I think it's important to understand the Chinese culture and to understand how Chinese people work.
And to respect it also.
为人民服务是真的那个的中国文化的奥运会的志愿者的精神。
More than 200 foreign volunteers are helping with the games. They were selected from among 21,000 applicants from 189 countries and regions. All share at least one characteristic in common: their love for China and its culture. Zheng Siwei, CCTV.
Now, speaking of the opening ceremony, what's the weather going to be like? That's the big question here. Well, conditions during the Olympics have become one of the hottest topics in China. With just 5 days to go before the start, the Beijing Meteorological Bureau has met for a press conference. Officials say the city may be overcast and cloudy and possibly hit by showers or thunderstorms on the evening of August 8th. But detailed weather conditions for the opening ceremony will not be available until 2 days before. Even if there are showers during the ceremony, current technology can guarantee that the fireworks display will not be affected. Ongoing heavy rains are unlikely in the days before or immediately after the opening ceremony. We'll tell you more about that as when more details become available. And here's a breaking story as we interrupt our regular programming for this. 16 policemen have been killed and 16 others injured. This after a Border Patrol Armed Police Division in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region was raided on Monday. 2 attackers who drove a lorry to break into the police station in Kashi at about 8 on Monday morning have now been arrested. This according to police sources. They also say they threw 2 grenades, causing a subsequent explosion. We're going to update you on that story as and when we get more details. That initial report, though, 16 policemen dead in Xinjiang. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more Olympic updates right after this. Now, the slogan for this year's Olympic torch relay is "Light the Passion, Share the Dream." It's taken on a poignant and additional significance as the relay made its way Monday through the earthquake-ravaged province of Sichuan. Thousands of cheering locals turned out amid a sea of flags to celebrate the coming on the Games in a place where tens of thousands died in the earthquake less than 3 months ago.
There was a minute of silence to remember those who lost their lives in the earthquake. Then the relay on its journey of hope and solace carried on from Leshan. Along the route, deafening shouts of "Rebuild Sichuan, Go China" were heard continuously. The relay in Leshan started at the Mingshan Pavilion. It went for 1.5 hours. The first torchbearer was former Olympic diving champion Gao Min, who participated in the 24th and 25th Olympics. 185 bearers in Leshan carried the torch over a distance of 7.5 kilometers. The last torchbearer was Tang Guoqiang, one of the heroes of the Sichuan disaster. The primary school where he was headmaster was at the quake's epicenter in Wenchuan. Tang organized effective rescue efforts in the wake of the catastrophe. Monday, he ignited the cauldron in Yingbin Square on Emei Mountain. The relay took on special significance in Sichuan, where so many lives were lost and so many towns devastated in the earthquake. As those lining the route responded with their shouts of "Go China! Go Olympics! Rebuild Sichuan!" the torch helped reignite the spirit and courage of the people who faced the work of rebuilding their homes and communities.
I am so excited right now. Many thanks to those who care so much. Many thanks to our dear motherland. It was your caring that gave us the confidence to rebuild our homes and our communities better than before.
The first torchbearer in Guang'an on Sunday, Jiang Min, is a policewoman in Pengzhou. In that city, near the quake's epicenter at Wenchuan, she lost 10 members of her family, including her 2-year-old daughter and her parents. In the face of her grief, she went to work in the front line of relief efforts and moved the entire nation. As she finished her part in the torch relay, she commented, "I will bring the Olympic spirit to my work. We can rebuild our homeland by working together." Sichuan is a final stop for the Olympic flame before it heads to Beijing for the Games opening ceremony Friday. The Sichuan tour had been scheduled originally to take place in June. It was postponed because of the earthquake. In all, 862 torchbearers, 29 of them rescue workers, were nominated to take part in the relay. Li Chunxia, CCTV.
There's also an Olympic-themed exhibition called One World, One Dream, and it's just opened up here in Beijing. Organisers say the show offers an opportunity for locals to learn more about China's Olympic history. Zhang Lu gives us a sneak preview.
The exhibition seemed to have struck a chord with Beijing's concept of a People's Olympics.
I think the most striking difference between the Beijing Olympics and previous games is the public participation. The exhibition is just a good platform for people to get close to the Olympics.
Visitor Xing Qing took pictures of every item he likes.
The exhibition reveals the process of how China won the bid and prepared for the Games in the past 7 years. I'm really more than excited.
Models of new sports venues and facilities are an important part of the exhibition. Li Jiqi and his family are sitting on the model subway train. He says it gives visitors a glimpse of Beijing's changes.
I think because of the Olympic Games, Beijing's development has accelerated for 10 or even 20 years ahead.
Visitors say they love the Olympics and the changes it's brought to Beijing. They wish the Games a great success. The exhibition will run for over 2 months, and admission is free. Zhang Lu, CCTV.